I saw the full extent of the film yesterday. So it's my first time in Venice and at the film festival, and since I was a kid, I used to watch photos of the experience of being here, and now to be here and premiering the film and see it for the first time was quite extraordinary. And the warm reception that we had yesterday, I couldn't be more humble about, but it was extraordinary to see how warm it was. Well, I was on the tube in London, and I was reading the newspaper, and it was an article about that they had just announced that Tom Hooper and Eddie Redmayne was gonna come together and make this film, The Danish Girl. And I hadn't read the script, but I've heard about this film. I've had people, worked on it before that, they've been trying to get this film made, for 12 years. And it's truly has been a passion project for so many people. So I was like, oh, that sounds like a wonderful combo. I'm really looking forward to seeing that film, I thought. And then 2 days later, I got a phone call from my agent, and they're like, oh, we're just sending you a script in your email, you should go and read it. It's called Danish Girl. It's a great female, part that you could, go up for. And I was like, oh, right, wonderful. And I read the script, and I thought it was, one of the most incredible and unique journeys and love stories that I had read. And then I met Tom Hooper for a reading and for a meeting, and then thank God they called me back and wanted me to come in and do a reading with Eddie. She is very much a woman ahead of her time, I think, in the 1920s when it was quite rare for a working woman, and she was a working artist and self-made. And she's a woman who I think I learned a lot trying to myself portray her, but I was so impressed by how she so unconditionally can care and love and support other people, and kind of be so unselfish in a way that she is, and still not neglecting herself or not being able to feel, that she goes on a very tough journey in this film, and being true, of course, to those difficulties and the sadness that she can carry of maybe feel like, when in this film she gives the opportunity for somebody to do a very personal journey that person needs to do to become their true self. And in that, it's probably also a fear in a relationship of losing the connection with the person that you love. Yeah. But even with that, she knows that she will always put that person first, and I think that's quite extraordinary. I've once in my life done a film with a director that I've worked with once before, and what you realize when you go back to somebody that you work with is the language, and they're also extremely good friends, and it's that thing of immediately getting on set and kind of feel secure and safe, which I think is the most important thing for the work to be, to become authentic and accurate, and that people can dare to push things. And thank we did have a few weeks of rehearsals, and even though their relationship was very, very, so solid, they were so openly there with their open arms and really wanted to invite me, and we had a couple of weeks of rehearsal, which is quite rare, that I think really brought a lot to our film in the end. I think with anything, it's wonderful. I'm so happy to know the people that have been on and fought for this film for 12 years, that they kept on going, because it is an extraordinary story and an important story to tell. And with the transgender community who are still having such a hard time in society, and to get their voice heard and to be accepted, and knowing that it feels like finally it's a movement going on about civil rights, about being yourself out there in society, when they're finally getting their voice heard and getting conversations started and awareness.